Agitato, he said all the time. Agitato.
That's pianist Jerome Lowenthal, Juilliard professor, and one of my beloved teachers of 5 years. All of Jerry's former students, including myself, get to claim to be the grand piano students of the likes of Alfred Cortot and Edward Steuermann and William Capell. Now, these were such radically different and individual artists that it might have been confusing for young Jerry to take the same piece to these different teachers and have them completely disagree with each other about the music. But the truth is, pianists don't just disagree with each other. Sometimes they change their own minds. So in this video, I want to share a funny story Jerry tells about studying the Chopin Second Sonata with each of his legendary teachers. Now, this is taken from an extended interview I did with him in his Manhattan apartment in 2019. It was one of the first productions I ever did for Tonebase, and he also recorded tutorials on Schubert impromptus and pedaling. Now, there's so much wisdom in these videos for today's and tomorrow's pianists to learn from, but they're also windows onto the past where we can learn from great masters of the 19th and 20th centuries. And this is at the heart of Tonebase Piano's mission, carrying forward the legacy of piano artistry and sharing it with as many people as possible using technology. Now, what you see on this channel is just a tiny fraction of the enormous archive of piano wisdom that you can find on the Tonebase Piano premium platform. The artists who teach for Tonebase Piano rank among some of the best in the world. And their teachers' teachers were some of the best in the world a generation before them, and their teachers' teachers were before that, and so on, all the way back to Czerny and Beethoven and Haydn and Moses and Abraham. And the same is true for the original Tonebase classical guitar platform, the recently launched Tonebase violin, and soon to come Tonebase cello. And there actually isn't a better time to sign up for that than right now. And the good thing about a Tonebase sale is you don't have to kill each other trying to get into our store at 5 a.m. on Black Friday. You can simply follow this link and a minute later, you're in. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and ring the little bell thing, and then carry all that positive energy over to our premium platform, sign up today, and explore our vault of lessons and interviews for 2 weeks free of charge. Sign up in the next 24 hours and you'll receive a free Tonebase house cat. Okay, enough with the commercial, on with the show.
We're now going to have a recital by William Capell, one of the most distinguished of our younger pianists.
Here he is. Here is Willie. He's the man on the left. And the man on the right is my patron, Frederick Mann. Capell, of course, was killed in an airplane crash. Capell was obsessive. And he didn't make me obsessive, but he made me serious. And of course, musically, he was inspirational. He used to play for me for hours. Certain things he played without stop. Chopin mazurkas, Schubert dances, Bach suites. Those were the things he always played for me. And they got into my bloodstream. He changed in the course of the years that I studied with him. And he was only 28 when I came to him. Very, very, very intense, even violent. I studied the Chopin B-flat minor sonata with him. Agitato, he said all the time. Agitato. 2 years later, I brought it back to him. And I played, and he hated it, quite properly. And as I was thinking, well, that's the way you told me to play, but of course you never say that to a teacher. He said, actually I used to play it that way. He said, but I think of it differently now. And he wrote on my music after agitato, but dolente, with sorrow. That's of course me. That's not Capell, but it's me as I understood Capell. There was an energy of lyricism which was quite unique. I had many teachers, but it was only when I came to Capell that I understood what kind of a commitment it was to be a pianist. After I studied with Capel, I needed a teacher, and I went to Juilliard and I studied with the great musician Edward Steuermann. Steuermann was marvelous, and although he was known mainly as the performer of the Second Viennese School, he thought of himself as a Chopiniste, and his Chopin was wonderful. He felt quite uncomfortable about the whole Capel business because he would have liked to be nasty about Capel, competitively, as teachers sometimes are. But he couldn't because of the tragedy. So when I played it for him, I brought my music in which Capel had written, but dolente. And Steuermann said, look, I am very sorry for this poor Capel, but really this dolente, it is impossible. I didn't take it too seriously, but 2 years later I brought it to him again. And he said, you know, I think you could do more with the dolente side of this. I later brought it to Alfred Cortot, who did not even discuss dolente, but he said to me about the slow movement, the funeral march. He said, "Ce n'est pas un morceau de musique, c'est un message personnel." It's not a piece of music, it's a personal message. He gave me all sorts of wonderful ideas in the work.